Dear friends. In our gospel reading, we hear the well-known story of what has come to be known as the widow's mite. The widow quietly and almost regretfully drops 2 small coins into the temple treasury. These coins were worth the smallest amount. Even though their value was small, they represented all she had, her only chance for a meal. In our Old Testament reading, we see another widow, this time with a son to feed, living in the midst of a famine. She gives Elijah bread made from her last handful of flour, as the prophet asked her to do. That small piece of bread must have taken most of her remaining flour, at least half of everything she had. To us, this may seem unfair to the widow and her son, as it was all they had to survive. This is one of the ways God works miracle through us. God sent the prophet Elijah to this widow to save her and her son. But for them to receive that blessing, she first had to trust and obey God, sharing what little she had. When she did as Elijah asked, the prophet told her, "For the Lord, the God of Israel, says, the jar of flour shall not go empty, nor the jug of oil run dry, until the day when the Lord sends rain upon the earth." True generosity is not measured by how much we give, but by the love and trust with which we give it. Both widows in today's readings were ready to share what they had and obey God's command, demonstrating a profound trust in His providence. They show us that true wealth is not in material abundance, but in a heart open to God's will and love. I would like to share one of my experiences with giving. When I was in India, I was appointed pastor of a newly established poor parish. The parish was in its early stages. The church building was in poor condition, too small to accommodate all the parishioners, and I had to build everything from scratch. After I took charge of the parish, I noticed that many bright young people in my parish didn't have the resources to pursue their higher education. I spoke with the families one by one, asking how much they needed to support their children's education, especially for nursing studies. I decided to help them. The finance council members asked me, "Father George, if we give away all the money we have, how can we build our church and meet our other needs?" I told them, their education is my priority. God will provide what we need. Now is the time to help these children. If we don't help them, who will do that for them? The money we had was not enough to build a church anyway, so I chose to help them. It was unbelievable. A year later, I was able to build a church, a grotto, and a bell tower. I didn't ask anyone for money, yet my friends, my former parishioners, and even strangers contributed generously. I knew it was God's hand at work. There is no doubt that when I chose to help those students, God blessed the parish abundantly. Jesus does not condemn people who have more than others, but he warns them strongly against selfishness and greed. Jesus told stories that highlighted the danger of having plenty, yet being unwilling to share, such as the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, and the story of the fool who built bigger storehouses but then died. And in moments when we feel we have little to offer, let us remember that just as with the widow's flour and oil, God has a way of multiplying our efforts. Our gifts and talents may seem small, but when we offer them to God and others with love, that can create a ripple effect of grace in others' lives. Dear friends, like the widows we have heard about today, we are called to give not only our resources, but also our time, talents, and hearts to God and others. Think about what keeps us back from doing these kinds of great things for others. Think of how can we give more generously even if it feels like a sacrifice. Think of the countless ways people serve one another, even when it is difficult. When we give our time to listen to a friend in need, or share our skills and resources with those less fortunate, we are living out the spirit of these widows. Like the widows, when we are ready to give, not only our resources, but also our time, talents, and hearts to God and others, then we will be able to hear God's voice as the prophet Elijah said to the woman, "The jar of flour shall not go empty, nor the jug of oil run dry until the end of your days on earth." Amen.